the most evil people, especially the church family. They're the devil. They're the devil. That's why you'll watch their kids die. You'll watch a lot of bad things happen because a lot of church people are evil. A lot, especially those pastors. I know people, men that I dated, baby. Men that I dated, that their father was part of the treasury and will steal money from the church, baby. And then they will pray and pretend that someone stole this money. The church people are more evil than the people in the world. Hi guys, welcome to my life, my world, my everything. Welcome to Tasha Reacts. Welcome to Tasha Reacts, baby. I hope everybody's doing well, everybody's doing good on the hood. I see a lot of people haven't subscribed to me. Welcome. If you guys don't know, my name is Tasha. And I originally have another channel called Tasha Society where I do hair. I do everything over there, okay? And I'm gonna start being a little bit more consistent because I know I have been neglecting my Tasha Society people over there, you know what I'm saying? My birthday is coming up. I am a Leo gang gang. And I will be doing a live on August 16th if you guys want to join us. I know you're new to the tribe, you're new to the Tasha, but we will just be chilling, talking. You know, I used to go live all the time on YouTube, but maybe life has been lifing, so I'm trying to rebuild the engagement and all that. All right. As you know, I always put the person's information here, and I usually shout them out if I can find their social media. If I can't, well, I won't put anything up. If the person comes up to me and say, hey girl, I don't want you sharing my video, baby girl, sir, I will take it down because I don't care.
Buckle up. So it was in December, and my husband was the music director at his church, where his father was also the pastor. He was at the church doing rehearsal for the Christmas musical, and I was at home. During that time, he was not staying at our house. He had like left and just never came back. Like he left in October, never came home. That's a whole nother story for another day. We can talk about that if you want to later. Anyway, so he was doing that. I was at home. I saw a message in my social media from somebody that I didn't know. It was sent a month prior, but for some reason I didn't get it. So I finally saw it. It said something to the effect of, please tell your husband to stop harassing us. And I was like, what the hell is this about? I don't understand. So I asked this person, what are you talking about? They tell me everything. You know, my husband's been harassing them and their friend, and my husband also has a boyfriend. Proceed to give me all.
Wait a minute. Sis, you can't just roll that in. My husband also has a boyfriend. Wait a minute. Baby, he has a boyfriend? I thought he had a girlfriend. I thought she was saying like how she found out her boyfriend was cheating on her. I thought it meant cheating on her with a girl. Sis. Me, oh my god. Alright. Oh my god. She just slid that in like, and my boyfriend also has a boyfriend. Wait a minute.
The information as well as video of my husband and his boyfriend. So then I start calling all my friends and telling them he's cheating on me. That's what it is, aside from, you know, his abuse. But I digress. I'm like, he's cheating on me, blah, blah, blah. One of my friends comes over and is like, it's okay, girl, I got you. Then I go down to the church and confront him.
So when you went to your friend and said he was cheating on you, like... And then they found out, was it with a guy? Like, did you already know that he had, you know, ways, you know, because your friends just came and be like, oh, you know, I wasn't there, so I don't know how they came up to you. But if you find out a man is cheating, and, you know, it's one thing they're cheating, but it's another thing when they're cheating with another male. That's that's two different reactions with me. Baby, you cheating on me, okay. But you cheating on me with a man, baby, that's a whole different Tasha you're getting. You're not getting the same Tasha. What? What? Like, baby, I don't. Okay, let me watch part 2.
All right, so part 2. So I get to the church around the time rehearsal is ending, and I talk to him. A mutual friend of ours who went to the church came with me to, you know, just be there for moral support. So I say to my husband, I'm like, hey, can we talk? And he kind of rolls his eyes. He's like, bitch, I don't want to talk to you. But he does anyway. So we go into the church office, and I say to him, you know, I know we've been having some difficulty in our marriage lately, but, you know, I got this video and, you know, you're calling this guy babe. And I show him the video and he's like, oh, we're just messing around. And I was like, I know you don't mess around like that. And then he proceeds to start, you know, getting mad, yelling at me, basically calling.
Wait a minute. What kind of I don't think any dude I have been with have the audacity to come to me and call his boys babe. What is it? What world are we living in? Are we just messing around? Babe. There's a different, like, I know dudes that play around and act like, you know, like they play around, make jokes. Like, baby, you know you like this. Like, playing around. I know dudes that do stuff like that. Yeah, you know, joking, okay, cool, you know. But if you're texting the person, you're calling the person babe, that's not joking around. That's not joking around, baby. As soon as I seen the text, I wouldn't even want the explanation because I don't know. Because it's so different finding out the man you're with, you love, you gave a ring to, because when you give a person your ring, that person owns you. It's different when the person's just your baby mama and baby dad. That's different. Baby, y'all went before God and said, thou art Lord. I promise to be faithful and committed to this person till I die. You signed a contract to God. If you didn't want her, why you don't go to men? But maybe because she's in church, because, you know, church is the most judgmental place in the world. That's why a lot of people don't go to church no more, and that's why the world's the way it is, because church people, everything's about image, about how people think of you. So he probably been feeling this. His family probably already know, because a lot of families enable these people, and he probably just did it to you know, to play it off, and he's probably living a double life, especially if his father's a pastor. She said that, right? Something like that. Well, whatever's going on. But if he is like a pastor, or the father is a member, like a big dog in the church, everything's about cover up. Everything is about image. So, sis.
Me a dog telling our mutual friend to put a muzzle on me. At this time, my father-in-law, the pastor, walks into the office, starts making copies and shit for whatever reason, as my husband is like upset and yelling at me, right? And so his dad's like, just talk to her. But obviously he's, you know, super upset at this point that I have found out everything about him. So then he, you know, leaves, and then that's when I just totally lose my shit, and I just like fall down, and I'm like, I lost my husband. Like, I could not even, like, I couldn't even really stand up. So yeah, I was like, I lost my husband. I was just like, call your therapist. So I called my therapist and I left him a message, and then he called me back, and he was like setting up an appointment with me for the next day. And I texted my brother-in-law, and I was like, you know, your brother has been cheating on me and he has a boyfriend, and you probably already knew this. And that's another story for another day as well. There's a lot with that. And I forgot to mention, my father-in-law knew that my husband was cheating on me for a year.
Didn't I tell you? And especially I said that if the father's a pastor, they always know. They always know. They know, but everything's about an image. So he probably tried to sweep it under the rug. That's why I don't trust men's family. I don't trust no man's family. I don't care. You're like my daughter. They're the most evil people, especially the church family. They're the devil. They're the devil. That's why you'll watch their kids die. You'll watch a lot of bad things happen, because a lot of church people are evil. A lot. Especially those pastors. I know people, men that I dated, baby. Men that I dated, that their father was part of the treasury and will steal money from the church, baby. And then they will pray and pretend that someone stole this money. The church people are more evil than the people in the world. Girl. I know the pastor knew. I knew it. Girl, I'm all gay, man, because I told you. This is why people stop going to church. This is why. Because the church people are just, I don't know. Everybody like that. No. The church is a cult. It's something about that church. the church, especially you the pastor's son, baby. The pastor's son, anything pastor, the pastor, baby.
So don't hide your pain where all the
Like I hate you. You bring me nothing. Nothing but
When I was with my abusive husband, he would push me to my limits emotionally, and he would exasperate me. And once I finally got past my limit, he would just stand there and look at me like I had lost my mind. He couldn't understand why I'm acting this way. And I'm the crazy one, you know? And this one time, I will never forget this. He had pushed me past my limits, and I was just so frustrated. And I said to him, just fucking hit me. I wanted him to hit me so that I had a reason to leave. Because at that time, in my head, I guess, I just thought, you know, he's not that great of a partner. I didn't necessarily see his actions as abuse. And I knew that if he hit me, that I wasn't out of my mind, and I had a reason to actually leave him. And he just stood there and looked at me like I was out of my mind. And yeah, he had pushed me past my limit. So like me saying that is not me. That is not who I am. But that's how far he pushed me. I wanted him to hit me because then there was a tangible reason why I couldn't be with him. He would gaslight me, but that wasn't tangible to me. I couldn't figure out exactly what the abuse was at the time. Yeah, like narcissists are they drive you wild.
You know when she said the part about the dude to like just effing hit me? But, and I'm saying my experience, because sometimes when you tell people I don't think, and they're like, who the hell do you think you are telling her she don't think that she should feel like that? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what me in that situation. I feel as if like when you get to a point, like I would never want to do just effing hit me, I'll hit you back. My brain ain't okay. But you know what I'm saying? When I'm in a situation and I try to find excuses, and then it happens, then I try to find another excuse, then it happens, then I try to find another excuse. I feel as if like a lot of people, I'm just using me as an example because I don't want nobody cussing me out for what I think, because you're not allowed to think in this world now, because there's no such thing as freedom of speech, because you can't feel nothing. But when you're in a situation and you're stuck, even if he hit you, you would have felt as if like, well, yeah, he hit me, but he didn't mean to. He was angry. I did push him. It becomes more and more and more and more excuses. I don't know. People use that word narcissist a lot. The only dude I would say that was kind of narcissist, like I don't even think my son's father was a narcissist. I would say my best friend that I was cool with, and I have a story time about him, but he was a narcissist. He was a dude that will gaslight you and then play it off like you're crazy. Like I really feel bad for the girlfriend that he's with. He's a narcissist, you know. He was a dude that I was cool with for years, and he would disappear, come back, and gaslight you. But I feel like people use that word narcissist for everybody. There's some people that have traits. Like my son's father has traits, my daughter's father has traits. I have narcissistic, whatever, however you say it, baby girl, traits. I feel like everybody has traits, you know, but for somebody to be the full package, I feel like people use that word too much. I just think a person's a bad person. They're just a bad person. They don't have to be a narcissist. I think you're just a bad person. I feel like that word is being just thrown. You are a narcissist. You do narcissist. You're a narcissist. You tie your shoes left to right. You're a narcissist. You gaslight me. Narcissist. Like, I hate that word because I hear it so much. For a person to be a narcissist, like, you have to have all the traits. There's some people are just bad people. And it's not because they're a narcissist. They just don't like you. And they meet somebody else and they do everything right with them. You know? So I feel like people just use that word. You're a narcissist. You're a narcissist. No. You know, he's just a bad person. And I bet you when he's with the man that he loves, he cares for, he will get it right. You know, I just feel like there's some men, they really don't like you. It makes you hate. Just like if I'm with somebody and I don't like you anymore, it makes you hate that person. You know, people are just bad people. You know, why you can't just say they are bad people? You're a narcissist. You're a narcissist. I hate that word. Oh my God.
So why did he leave? I'm going to try to condense this one, but it's kind of long. So I'm going to rewind all the way back to around April. We had been arguing a lot. Mind you, he was gaslighting me, very emotionally, verbally abusive. So like every single time I brought something to his attention, it was a fight. So I was like just fed up at that point. And I was like, we got to figure this out. So I told him, I think we need to separate for a minute, not like separate, we're getting divorced, separate like, you go sleep at your mom's house for a little bit, for a week or something, not even a week, a couple days, get our heads on straight, come back home, get our shit together. Well, he does that and doesn't come home for a month until the day before our anniversary. And again, you might be asking, like, he didn't come home, like you didn't make him come home. No, I couldn't. He was abusive. You can't make an abusive person do anything. Anyway, so all of that happens. Fast forward, nothing really gets better over the months. We're having like money problems, like he's overdrafting accounts, all this crazy shit. One of the days I talk to his mom and I just tell her things are really rough, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm just worried that it's actually worse than what you're saying. And 2020 vision, I'm looking back now, and honestly, I think she had an idea of what was going on because her comment came out of nowhere. It was like, I think it's something worse. And at the time I was like, what worse, bitch? What worse? So he ends up losing one of his jobs. He worked like multiple because like a new boss came in, but that doesn't really matter to the story. Fast forward, it's now October and we're still like, it's still not good. He's coming home super late. He's coming home at like 10 p.m., but I can't ask him shit about it. He'll get mad at me. He would just start a fight every single time, not come home till 2, 3 a.m. after he fights with me. And it was this one particular night in which I went out with a friend, accidentally left my phone in the Uber, started calling him from her phone. He didn't answer. I finally get home after midnight and he's dead asleep in the bed. And I was like, turned the light on and I was like, I've been calling you. You don't even care, like, if I came home. You don't care if I'm safe. You're asleep.
Happened to me. And I tell people this all the time. Like, you could be with somebody and you can say, tell me that you don't love me. Tell me you don't want to be with me. I always tell people that I had some great boyfriends in my life, except my son's father. That was the only man in my life, I would say, that hated me. That if I got bang bang KILL today, he would have cried to get my life insurance money. That's the only dude in my life that showed me he hated me. One time that kind of happened to me, I got left outside. I used to come home late, and my son's father used to do this control thing because there was a point like I really couldn't afford. I was really struggling. He was taking a lot of money from me and I was struggling, right? Mind you, he wouldn't pick up my kids. I'm doing everything. Low-key, it was like I was a single mother without him, right? So I would pick up the kids. I would do everything. I would drop off the kids. So I used to go get off at work. Mind you, he used to work too. Like, get off at work, get off a certain time, come home with my kids at 1 o'clock in the morning, to wake up early in the morning, to bring my kids to school. He did nothing, like nothing, right? And one day, it was late and I was tired. I came from working at Children's Hospital and I drove like mad far to come home. I came home, baby. When I came home, this dude was asleep. That my neighbor, we rang the bell, knocked the door, rang the bell. The neighbor had to open the door for me. And the neighbor told me, she was like, this man don't love you, because how does the man know that the mother of his child is out with these children and he's still asleep? He fell asleep and locked me out. I think there was a certain lock. No, I think I told him, like, I didn't have the keys, leave the door open. And he was like, okay, and locked me out. Didn't wake up till he had to go to work, and then start blowing up my phone at 5 o'clock that the neighbor went to go confront him. Like, she's a woman and she got kids. What if something happens to him? He's like, yeah, I know, because he was very about people. A man do not have to tell you he don't like you. He show you. A man do not have to tell you he don't like you. He will show you. He will show you clear as day, I don't like you. We are the best friends. We get along now. But if something happened to him, I won't have that sympathy, because you showed me who you were. Sometimes a man will show you, I don't like you. And y'all could become the best of friends. Y'all just not good for each other. You know what I'm saying? Baby, that triggered me. That triggered me.
Sleep in the bed. I should be home at this hour, and you don't even care where I am. So then he gets mad at me, starts a big old fight, leaves, doesn't come home for a while, and I was just done with that shit. So the next day I left and I went to my friend's house, and my friend lived like an hour or so away. I stayed there for a little bit. So while I'm at my friend's house, he ends up overdrafting our accounts. So I say, hey, can you put your money in? Can you put your checks in so that we're not overdrafted? And he ends up leaving me with $1.12 between the two accounts that we had. There was no money in the accounts to pay our bills, and our bills were due. And he did this partly because he was getting back at me, because the night before he had said that he went out and he went to go visit one of his friends. This friend was a friend that he did paraphernalia with when he was younger. When he had told me, I was like, that's the drug friend. And when I said that, he acted like he was all offended. So he ended up leaving me with no money to pay our bills. So I ended up calling up his mom and telling his mom what he did to me. And she's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So I end up going back down to where I lived to go talk to his parents after he did all of this. And that was a whole ordeal. But yeah, basically, I'm going to have to put the talking to his parents story in a different video, because this is going to be way too long. But after he left me with no money, I ended up staying at my friend's house for a few weeks. And then I finally go home, and he still isn't staying at the house. He comes back because I asked him, like, I need your credit card so that I can pay the bills. I need to pay your credit card bills. He drops off his cards and he tells me he's not coming home. And from then on, he never came back. Okay, so this is...
Baby, this is a lot, child. I'm sorry, girl. I already know. I've been through something similar, baby, but the parents are... they're just as bad as him. Just as bad. That's why I pray to God. I have a child, and I always say that. My son is married, my daughter's married, not my business. Not my business. As long as you're not hitting my babies, not my business. And if I have to check my children, I will check them. Because I know how it is to be with men with bad parents. Men with bad parents. Like, there's some men, their parents are horrible. Horrible. Like, I would... careful. Because some men's family will try to end you too. Just saying.
Why he left. So he told me, you know, I'm not coming home. And he never did. Although he was supposed to. Like, he wasn't saying he was never coming home ever at all. He was just saying, I'm not ready to come home yet. But now I know he was cheating on me. He was staying at his boyfriend's house. That's why he never came home. And he ended up giving me his credit cards to pay the bills, but he never continued to help me pay the bills. Basically, from that moment on, he like got an attitude and was like not paying any bills. After he left me with $1.12 in our account, he was like, I'm not paying the rent. Mind you, we were renting a house from his parents, and he just stopped paying. And he stopped paying every single bill, or stopped.
One of your mistakes, ma'am. When you are with a man, just like if a man's with a woman, do not ever have family and friends involved in anything financial. Anything. No matter how homeless you are, how desperate you are, do not ever have, you're married. That's it. You cannot live with your man's anything. Because God forbid something happens, your husband's good, that's his family. You're not. And they can kick you out whenever they want. I don't know, I just feel as if like you should have, I guess, you know, you probably built a relationship with them, but you don't trust family. Just like if I'm married to my husband shouldn't trust my mom. And if I'm married to his family, husband, it should just be like we're living a separate life. God forbid something happens, me and my husband are able to separate. I don't mix family with relationships. Because even though there's some good families, but you will get screwed in the end, because in the end of the day you'll be homeless. He will not.
Helping me pay. And during that time, I also had gone and taken time off work. I was on disability because my mental health was so bad. And so I couldn't even like take care of myself. I had to jump right back into finding another job because he left me in such a shitty predicament. So also when I went to go talk to his parents, when I had ended up coming back, you know, to where I lived, I went to the church to talk to both of his parents. I sat down and I told them everything, like everything I could think of that had ever happened, all the horrible shit that he had done to me. I was like bawling my eyes out, crying. And his dad was just like, oh yeah, you know, that's financial abuse, like that's unacceptable, we can't have that, yada yada yada. And his mom's solution was to help me pay some of the bills. Mind you, no accountability for their son. None. Zero accountability. I don't even think they talked to him about the fucking shit that he did to me. But at the time I was like, okay, like they're listening to me, you know, like they can help this turn a corner. And at this time, I didn't know he was cheating on me yet. But now I realize his parents are just enablers of his bad behavior, and they bail him out of every single thing that he does. His dad didn't give a shit that he was abusing me. His dad didn't give a shit that he was financially abusing me, squandering all our fucking money. Like I told them, so I had gone to Disneyland, and while I was there with my friend, I was talking to his mom, and his mom was like, yeah, you know, I gave him $60 because, you know, he said that he was going to get you something, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, he didn't get me anything. So he had lied to his mother, asking her for $60, telling her he was getting me something, and he never got me anything. He just needed $60 to either buy alcohol, because at the time he was drinking very heavily, and or my belief is that he relapsed. So he might have been getting the drugs. Part 3. So I confronted my husband, called my therapist, and told his brother, hey, I know you probably already knew he was cheating on me. I just sit on the floor. I sob, friggin', not even sobbing, wailing. My husband, I lost my husband, and just like yelling out, crying out for Jesus. I finally mustered the strength to kind of stand up, and then my neighbor, who also went to the church, was there and was like, hey, like we should probably pray for her. I'm like bent over because like I can't even stand. And my, you know, father-in-law begrudgingly walks over to, you know, pray for me and all this stuff. So I leave the church. My husband texts me, basically tells me it's my fault. Everything's my fault. He proceeds to call me a cunt as he's telling me that it's my fault. He's like, you know, you're a cunt and you did this. You were a terrible wife. And so since I knew that he was staying at his boyfriend's house, I took a little drive over to his boyfriend's house to tell his boyfriend's mother that my husband was staying there. Because his boyfriend was 19, and at the time, my husband was damn near 30 years old. So I was like, yeah, that's weird, that's inappropriate, and no. So by that time it was like midnight. I went a knocking. I knocked on that woman's door, and I didn't care. I was like, somebody about to answer, because no. I was like, hey, is this your son? Is this his name? And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, well, I just wanted to let you know that your son is dating my husband, who is just about 30 years old. He was like 29. Damn near 30, okay? And he has been sneaking into your house and staying here. And then apparently my husband was there. He was like, I don't know, staking out around the corner or something like that, because he texted me and was all pissed off at me for doing that. After that, my friend drives me to her house because she didn't want me to stay alone, obviously. So she drives me to her house, and I stay at her house. She ends up calling my boss because she was like, she used to work at the same place I just got a job at. And she told my boss what happened, and told them, I wasn't coming into work. Oh, and mind you, his grandma had just died. So like, she had passed away like a few weeks to a month before I found out. And we had just had her services like 5 or 6 days before I found out that he was cheating on me. The whole thing with his grandma, oh my God, there's so much. Let me make another video because that's going to be way too long. Part 4 is coming. Okay, so part 4. Hold on, let me salt this really quick. Oh, that's the wrong way. Okay. So, part 4. So as I said, his grandmother passed away. And when that happened, he was not at the hospital. So she was, she was very old. She was like in her 90s, and she was in hospice. And so I stayed at the hospital because I was like, they said she was going to pass away, so I'm not leaving, because I loved her. Like, she was everything to me. So anyway, so I stayed. I had to call him to tell him that his grandmother passed away. So now we are now at her homegoing services, and he had an orchestra play there because his entire family is very into music. His mom, his dad, and both of his brothers, they're all musicians. So they had an orchestra. Well, guess who was in the orchestra? Yeah, his boyfriend was in the orchestra.
Baby, together.